Issue 159. Shadow and Sonic start to fight because Hope got hurt, and Rosie, after a couple of panels, says that in case you two fools hadn't noticed, there's a little girl here lying injured, and most certainly needing medical attention. This causes Sonic to carry Hope to the doctors, and causes Shadow to run after him, saying, "Not without me!" Meanwhile, Uncle Chuck talks about how the hardware of the Neo Metal Sonics would be state-of-the-art were it not for the nanites. Why would the nanites make their hardware worse? If anything, they should make them better. He says that exactly 100 nanites were built to protect the kingdom. Is he explaining this to anyone who wouldn't already know this? He starts crying, saying that he somehow made a mistake making those Eggman fighting robots. And Rhoda reassures him that it wasn't his idea initially, apparently, and says, "You have nothing at all to be ashamed of." After Eggman says in the middle of boring complaining that the Metal Sonics had destroyed his command center and compromised his system's safeguards, with that recap padding out of the way, Shadow reflects on how there have been only 2 sentients who have ever expressed compassion for him as far as he's aware of, and uses Chaos Control to try to save Hope. Elias asks 5 minutes ago if there's any sign of the invaders, while Jeffrey tells people to go to their stations. With Sonic showing up through a portal along with Shadow and Hope, Elias wonders how he could explain to Sonic that the king had meant well in ordering those robots to be created. Oh, I see. She was brought here because the medics are here, gathered at the castle along with everyone else. I was wondering why they didn't bring her to the hospital. Wait, so with the medics being here at the castle, does that mean that the medics brought all the medicine and medical supplies with them? Because otherwise it would be kind of pointless bringing her here if they can't really do anything to help. After Sonic argues with Elias about the project, he thinks unusually this hero jazz can be a pain at times. Just once I'd like to see someone else lead the charge, before facing some more Neo Metal Sonics. One of them says that they're programmed to attack anyone who threatens the kingdom's existence, and they for some reason think Sonic should be attacked. I mean, they weren't programmed to trust him, I guess. One of them, while trying to fire an eye laser, says that their programming is immune to tampering, causing Sonic to run around a bunch of them in a circle at the speed of sound to catch them in a tornado. Some more of the robots attack him, and Shadow, after deciding to help Sonic when he's done nothing but inexplicably fight with him recently, proves that he's just as, if not more omnipotent than Knuckles was at times, since all he does is raise his hand and now all of the robots are demolished. And they say Sonic X Shadow is overpowered. Knuckles, who had been around Knothole earlier for some reason, tells him that he did it with Chaos Control. I guess Knuckles is familiar with Chaos Control. And with Sonic complaining about his headache from being caught in the middle of it all, he responds to Shadow cruelly with, "Shut up, Baker," and then, "Thanks for the save, Shadow, I owe you nothing." That was rude. He just saved your ass. After Sonic comes back to the castle and gets awarded with the medal by Elias, getting the full credit when Shadow was the one who defeated the robots, it's then explained that Chuck's video logs have a complete record of his actions. So why isn't Shadow being given the medal then? Then Sonic is assigned the rank of Gentleman at Arms. Is anything going to change from this? Is he going to be immune to meddling idiots telling him he's not allowed to go be a hero? The story ends with Sonic actually being nice to Shadow, saying, "Don't be a stranger." That's a jarring shift from being cruel like earlier. I guess he felt guilty. Also, I like that he said, "Don't be a stranger," when Scourge said the same thing, although it meant something completely different. And Chuck turns off the video footage thinking, "You have your secret, Shadow, and we have ours. Better they should stay that way." So does he think that Shadow would be gone after for his power if he told people that he did it? Did he alter the video footage so that people would think Sonic saved the day? In the next story, Adam says to cheer Eggman up that his research is continuing and his lieutenants continue maintaining his infrastructure. Eggman calls his lieutenants potential traitors, which was true of Crocbot, so it makes sense. Adam says that he should make an example of someone, and Eggman complains that the one he desires to see the worst punishment currently beyond his reach. Adam explains that the evidence suggests otherwise and asks if a visual log of an experiment will refresh his memory. Eggman says he didn't realize recreating Metal Sonic could get so out of hand, and Eggman finds out that now the heroes are using his nanites for themselves. But didn't Chuck say that the nanites were built for the kingdom? Now they're his nanites? Adam says that a video stream was received when the nanites were transmitted to their own kind, despite whatever distance of separation between them. Then Eggman asks since when could nanites defy gravity, as we see Tommy flying with his jetpack shell. Then it's explained that when Tommy put his palm on a scanner while looking into a camera, Adam transmitted a signal, triggering a growth spurt in the nanites. The computer console being a natural source of raw minerals, and yet the entire console isn't immediately eaten for some reason, enabled the nanites to multiply and grow, while not visibly damaging it somehow. That's when Eggman said that Adam must be able to manipulate the nanites to do his bidding. Jules says that he could have sworn the calibration on something was a bit off the retina scan, but he thinks he was wrong. And this causes Eggman to somehow figure out from that the nanites have infiltrated Jules' system. Jules tells Bunny to place her palm face down on the glass plate, and Bunny asks if the new security system will really provide protection against their enemies. Eggman tells Adam that Bunny will make a wonderful agent when the time is right. He asks Adam if they're not deleting their supply of nanites, and Adam tells him no because the microchips and electrical charges from the main console provide more than enough sustenance for the nanites. I'm so bored right now. Nothing but characters talking, giving exposition dumps on me. Can more actual stuff happen, please? Bunny gets woozy, which makes Eggman threaten Adam, but fortunately for Eggman, that intriguing plot point of Bunny becoming a sleeper agent might just work out after all. It's explained that because bullshit, the chemical composition of the turtle shell is compatible with the nanites even though it's organic, while the other organic stuff, like Sonic, is incompatible. Then Adam explains that their next subject more than meets the minimum required standards, with Eggman saying that the princess relies heavily on Nicole. Eggman then brags at having hacked into Nicole from a distance somehow when the nanites are far away from Adam himself. Eggman will be able to know everything the heroes do and say, and when they least expect it, that's when he'll strike. Except he was already spying on him with camera footage anyways, and he always spots them with camera footage. So I guess now he's going to be able to spy on them even more? Both stories in the issue were written by Ken Penders, and the first one involves Hope being gotten to the medics, and then Shadow defeating all of the Neo Metal Sonics just by raising his hand, putting Knuckles' level of omnipotence at times to absolute shame. And Uncle Chuck decides to give Sonic all the credit for it because I guess he's worried Shadow will be hunted down for his power otherwise. I'm glad Shadow and Sonic made up, although it came out of nowhere since Sonic was talking to him such an uncharacteristically cruel way before they did. Not to mention the whole him complaining about being a hero thing was also pretty uncharacteristic. It was an underwhelming conclusion, and one that still hasn't explained why the hell Neo Metal Sonics, who were built to protect the kingdom and know this, decided to go attack Hope. What does she have to do with anything? I can't imagine Snively would have anything to gain in reprogramming them to do that. He just released them to spite Eggman. And the second story was incredibly boring because it was just characters dumping exposition on me about the nanites, ending off with some interesting plot points being introduced, as now Bunny's a sleeper agent for Eggman, and Nicole's being spied on to let Eggman know everything the heroes will be up to, even though he can just watch the heroes through camera footage from places he shouldn't have footage of anyways. I have a hard time understanding how this even works. I mean, the nanites are pretty far from Adam, so does Adam communicate with them through transmission like a phone call? And if the nanites were stated to work independently from Adam, why would they listen to him? Why do they have to be so easily hacked in from a distance? Eggman is just a little too overpowered here. So, that was the last story ever written by Penders. I didn't like 38 stories by him, 8 for the Green Knuckles arc. But I did like most of the Knuckles comic. It was funny and charming and had interesting plot lines and world building. I didn't like 38 of his stories. He's easily, by a large margin, the writer with the largest quantity of stories I didn't like. I mean, the other writers had like 1, 1, 1, 2, 7 for Carl Bollers. Because of this, and because I love the Knuckles comics so much, I irrationally feel like he's kind of overhated as a bad writer. He is the worst one, I just proved it quantifiably, but not always bad, and certainly not comic ruining. So it annoys me that I don't hate him as much as everyone else because of the good he wrote. It annoys me that game purists use him as an excuse to completely dismiss the issues before he got fired as just totally worthless. Not literally every story that he wrote was terrible. His writing can be basically summed up as great ideas, poor execution, lots of plot holes. So, yeah, and that's usually the case for the other writers too, but kind of his style. Like, I really like stories like most of the Evil Twin stuff. I liked Patch having his plan. There were stories that I really enjoyed. But now we're finally going to see Ian Flynn. Let's see if he's the perfect writer that everyone says he is. I mean, I'm looking forward to him, but is he the greatest thing since sliced bread? Is the pre-Ian Flynn comic really worthless? Really not worth reading? Or is he all he's cracked up to be? I'll be the judge of that.